Hello my lovely friends. Today I'm going to show you the secret to making my famous yellow face cream. Stay tuned. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more interesting recipes and tips just like this. Feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know if you tried this. I'd love to know. I'll post the complete recipe down in the description below. I hope you enjoy. So for this recipe you'll need 1 ounce of emulsifying wax. I choose to use this just because I don't like to use any animal products, and so it makes this recipe completely vegan, but you can use beeswax. You're just going to want to use about half of that, so it would be 0.5 ounces if you use beeswax. I use about 0.8 ounces of shea butter, and I've put about 60 drops of sea buckthorn oil on top of this already. And I also squirted a little bit of vitamin E in there just to give it a little bit more longevity because I don't use any preservatives in my products. So in here I have a mixture of raspberry seed oil and flaxseed oil, because flaxseed oil is really good for your skin, and this is obviously for the face, so I like that in there. And the raspberry seed oil has a really high SPF, so it's a natural sunscreen, so I like to add it to my face cream when it's hot out and when it's in the summer, or just any time of the year when you're exposed to a lot of sun. And here is the secret to why my face cream smells so good. I choose to use floral water instead of just plain water, and it gives it an extra really rich smell to it. Besides just the essential oils, this really brings out a lot of the amazing properties of the face cream itself. So in here is neroli floral water, which is my favorite. It's orange blossom flower, and it smells so good. And I also put aloe vera liquid and witch hazel in here as well. I also like to put a few drops of essential oils, and I ended up putting about 5 drops of each of these. And these are all known for their skin healing properties, so that's why I like to use it in my face cream. And you're just going to need some containers to put your face cream in after it's done. And you're going to want to use a mason jar to mix your product. And then I also use an emulsion blender just like this. I have one specifically that I keep just for my skincare products. So the first thing you want to do is just get everything really melted. Make sure that you're using very clean equipment. I did just wash my hands, and everything that I use is very clean because I don't use preservatives, so there is a higher chance of it spoiling a lot sooner if your equipment isn't as clean. So at first, I just do the beeswax and whatever oil base I'm using. As I said, this is a flaxseed and raspberry seed oil base. So I let those simmer for a minute while the beeswax melts. I found that if you put shea butter in there too soon, it gets really gritty, and I don't like that in my face cream. I like it to be much more of a fine texture. So I wait until the beeswax is melted, and then I add my shea butter and sea buckthorn. So once that's melted, I add the shea butter and sea buckthorn and vitamin E, and let that just barely melt. Like I said, you don't want to overheat this stuff. So next, once it's melted, you're going to want to take it and pour it into your mason jar. Secret tip is to run this mason jar under hot water for a while until the glass warms up. That way when you pour this in, it doesn't immediately solidify on the sides because it was colder than the solution. So that's a way that you can let it cool down more naturally and not create clumps at the end product. So I just scoop everything into there. And I'm gonna let it cool down for just a minute, just because it's really hot. And I have found that I don't need to get these two temperatures, the liquid and the oils to the same temperature. I kind of like to keep this one in the jar still a little bit warm, but it can't be this hot or it's not going to mix together at all. The oil and water, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you put oil in water, oil just floats to the top and doesn't actually mix in the water. So this is a way that you can get it to mix up without separating. So I like to give it a chance just to sort of start getting a little bit less clear and a little more solid before I mix the two together. And right now it's actually really hot to the touch, so I'm gonna wait until it's a little bit more manageable. So we'll be right back. Okay, so it's cooled down a lot, and you can see that it's a little bit more opaque, so you can't see through it as well, and it's starting to solidify a little bit on the side. So this is the perfect moment to start mixing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my immersion blender down in it, turn it on, and gently start adding some of the liquid, and until it starts to come together. You'll start seeing that the color is going to lighten up a lot, and it's going to start turning into more of a lotion type consistency. So here we go. So it's all mixed, and I'm going to pour it into the jar. It's going to be really liquidy at first. I could probably have used a little bit more of that emulsifying wax. I'm still trying to experiment with it and see what the right ratio is, but it should set up a little bit more after it sits overnight and cools down, because it is still a little bit warm as well. You could also use this in a jar that you could squirt, you know, like a little squirt bottle of lotion. That would work really well too. But I just like these little jars because I have a bunch of them. So that's that. I'm just going to put a lid on them and let them sit overnight, and they should be good to go.